Huge stores. Stores that we all know that have been around forever and ever and have done great until now. Are they falling apart? Because we're seeing and currently in the toughest economic scenario we've seen since 1970. You look into it, it's all over the place. It reads right here, in the US, facing a retail apocalypse, more than 800 big box retail stores are set to close across the nation this year. Huge consumer box stores, big stores, favorites that you have, favorites that I have, from Starbucks to Disney to apparel to grocery, big box stores, big names. Why? We're talking about debt problems, inflation through the roof, and sales are down. So I thought it was important to bring you guys, compile a list of 20 stores that you should keep on your radar that are fighting for their lives. Only the strongest will prevail. So watch this video if you want to find out if your favorite store is the next to go bankrupt in 2023. You guys are brand new here. Welcome to our awesome community where we give you awareness news like this and keep you up to date. Emergency preparedness videos, prepping tips. If you find value in that, be sure to hit the notification bell so you guys can stay up to date. Let's jump into this one. So it's crazy. I could go over this for an hour of all the stores and businesses that have shut down already this year and the end of last year. But let's get you this surprising top 20 list right now. So the first one on the list is Kohl's. Kohl's has been in trouble for years now. Kohl's started back in 1940s and started off as a grocery store. Did you know that? I bet most of you didn't know that. And getting crushed by bigger competition, it slowly turned into a department store that we all find familiar to this date. So what we see in the last 7 months is a decline in sales in a big bad way. The company's thin margins coupled with a nationwide decline in discretionary spending are financially devastating. Kohl's, which is now on Moody's Analytics bankruptcy watch list for 2023. Number 2 is David's Bridal, known as the Walmart for weddings. David's Bridal files for bankruptcy for the second time in 5 years. The CEO has stated that if they do not find a buyer soon, now that they've filed for Chapter 11 again, they may be closing all stores by the end of 2023. Number 3, something all parents should know about, Gymboree. So now Gymboree is known as a child apparel type store, but what they're seeing is slower traffic into their stores, cash flow problems, and increasing competition. In March, Moody's report downgraded Gymboree to negative, and just in a few days after, knew about its most recent bankruptcy filing was released. With all that, the company had closed over 400 stores. And if that wasn't bad enough, the company is facing a multi-million-dollar lawsuit with former staff members. Number 4, 99-cent only stores. Yet again, another dollar store type of company that is facing competition, lower cash flow, and fighting the lessened foot traffic that's coming in and out the stores these days. 3 quarters for the 99-cent only store on a downward trend. Bad stuff. The forecast for 99-cent only store, not looking good. Number 5, if you're a shoe person, Tom's Shoes. Now, Tom's Shoes is known for back in the day when you bought a pair of shoes, they would donate a pair of shoes. But with inflation on the rise, supply and demand issues, and the cash flow trend going down, they've stopped just last year from donating a pair of shoes for every pair of shoes that were bought. Forbes listed the rise and fall of the buy one, give one model at Tom's. Many forecasters are predicting this is probably the last year for Tom's. Number 6, if you're into designer jeans, you're gonna know this one. True Religion, always known as a fashionable jean company with a pretty pricey tag, them too are also noticing the decline in sales and the upward trend in athletic type of clothing. True Religion has closed 64 stores in the past few years, filed for bankruptcy a couple times as the demand for apparel continues to fall. Number 7, a grocery store chain by the name of Tops. Wall Street Journal writes, Morgan Stanley must face $375 million in an already struggling environment which might wipe them completely off the landscape. Number 8, a staple in most towns or cities, Joann's. Now this one's shocking because during the pandemic, a lot of people took up home hobbies, needed something to do, and Joann's actually excelled through all that. But that's not the case now. Recently, JOANN's gross profit also decreased by 20% during that period, and its debt rose to $21.5 million. And how does the forecast look for JOANN's? It says conditions still look dire for the company. In 2023, they recently announced they will be closing several stores and laying off hundreds of workers as it attempts to reduce costs to save the business. And if you wear makeup, you're gonna know this one, Morphe. Morphe is known to be going hand in hand with celebrities out there. The announcement came after the company, Morphe, was hit with several lawsuits over the last year. In recent media, it states Morphe was going viral. Now it's closing all US stores. Number 10, huge staple in everyone's history, Sears. Now the downfall of Sears has been playing out for many years, and a lot of us could see this coming a mile away. Now everybody's been noticing that more and more Sears are just disappearing. It's also important to note that the company hasn't made a full year's profit since 2011 due to these reasons. 2023 might be the year Sears goes extinct. And that one hits home with me because Sears was one of my first jobs. In fact, a lot of you out there probably have worked at a Sears. Number 11, Bell, operating in 16 states. And this goes along with a lot of retail stores out there. A lot of people holding on to their greenbacks a little bit tighter. Inflation going through the roof. A lot of these retail stores aren't going to make it. Number 12, the women's apparel, Christopher and Banks. Originated in 1956. Yet again, another one that had to file bankruptcy due to the pandemic and not being able to rebound. At the moment, over 400 stores are closing all around America as Christopher and Banks say their last goodbyes to their loyal customers. Yet again, another company that just cannot handle the financial carnage out there, dealing with inflated prices, supply chain issues, staff shortages. The company has decided to cut insane costs to try to hang on to Starbucks. Starbucks is currently making the moves to close 500 stores, which may be in your area. Number 14, another name everyone knows, Disney. With Disney stores everywhere, with apparel, stuffed animals, toys, all resembling the Disney name, suffering in a decade of loss in sales. After 60 stores closing last year, they're expecting another 50 stores this year. Yahoo Finance states Disney begins the process of cutting 7,000 jobs as CEO Bob Iger warns challenges ahead. Number 15, if you've shopped for furniture, you might know this one, Art Van Furniture. Yet again, another Chapter 7 filing and liquidating all of their assets. It says 70% of stores will be closed by the end of this year, while about 300 locations that were sold to a different parent company will reopen as Love's Furniture. Number 16, another footwear company, Clarks, a 200-year-old UK footwear brand, which also sold out to a Chinese company to try to survive. But with that change in demand has demanded Clarks, the footwear company, may shut 25% of its US stores as it delves deeper into digital sales. Almost 2,000 jobs have been cut so far, and many more may soon be on the chopping block as the company faces a bumpy restructuring, and many more may come. Number 17, another huge renown known for their makeup, Estee Lauder. The beauty retailer that operates brands like Bobbi Brown, La Mer, Clinique, MAC Cosmetics, Origins, Le Labo Fragrances, Bumble and Bumble, Aveda, and more, has seen sales decline by 32% in the last quarter of 2022. It's being reported that Estee Lauder is slashing up to 2,000 jobs and closing up to 15% of its stores globally. Knowing a lot of you gals probably use some of these brands, it says also, on Wednesday, the company said it expects sales to decline between 12% in the first quarter of 2023 due to falling demand. Revenue could also dip by 15%, which pushes its shares down to 53 cents this week alone. Number 18, another big furniture company, Furniture Factory Outlet. Yet again, another one of the many, and that's the case with a lot of companies. A lot of companies had to file bankruptcy and they're just not coming out of the hole. Number 19, another huge apparel brand, Guess. In the last quarter, Guess reports in quarter 3 net loss of $2.9 million. Now, a lot of the problems that Guess is saying that this is due to is supply chain issues, inflation with supply and demand. Guess is permanently closing 100 stores as its leases near expiration. Number 20, one of the largest clothing brands in the world, H&M. H&M reportedly falling apart, also complaining not being able to survive coming out of the pandemic. H&M reporting that they're going to be closing 300 to 400 locations this year. H&M also transitioning and focusing on digital integration. The reality of it all is we're seeing a collapse and a fall of old school brick and mortar storefronts as everyone transitions to online, e-commerce, website and online sales. We all know in reality that just isn't going to cut it. We're going to need some in-person type of stuff. But as everyone figures out how that's going to be financially feasible, we've got physical locations all over the United States coming to a close. So tell me what you guys think. Is it worth the convenience of just ordering things on your phone? Are you gonna miss all of these physical places that you can go out on a weekend and do real bag shopping? Is there any of your favorite stores on this list? Tell us down in the comments below what you think of all this. Are you going to miss all of these brick and mortar stores once they're gone? With that, if you guys are a fan of actually going to physical places, you might think about that next time you want to press order on your phone and take a physical trip to the store and support the physical store. Otherwise, maybe not too far in the future, might not have that store to go visit. Anyway, guys, I thought this was pertinent information you guys should all be aware of. Lots of physical locations of lots of stores closing down. So keep prepping, keep learning, keep doing. We'll see you guys on the next one.